everyone, welcome back to Branch Out Brain. Today we're going to be talking about the Bronze Age collapse, a very interesting history topic. What is the Bronze Age collapse? The Bronze Age collapse is basically a complete and violent and sudden collapse of civilization in the around the Mediterranean, and this caused a lot of problems and it delayed human progress by centuries, and it resulted in a sort of dark age where most progress had stopped, and some great civilizations collapsed during this time. And now the civilizations. The New Kingdom of Egypt that lasted from 1550 to 1077 BC. The New Kingdom of Egypt was the third Egyptian kingdom, which stretched from parts of Ethiopia all the way to Syria, which is absolutely gigantic. But the main population centers were around the Nile. And many of the great rulers of Egypt, like Ramses II and Hatshepsut, ruled this empire. This was truly one of the most advanced empires. It had all sorts of advanced science. If you look into the pyramids of Giza, they have so much advancement in them. They are so mathematically and geographically significant. And there are even some objects depicted in paintings that seem like modern day objects. I mean, there are a lot of theories about that I won't get into in this episode, but you can look it up. There are objects that look like laptops, gramophones depicted there, and the amount of manual labor and technological ingenuity required to build massive megastructures like the pyramids that weren't surpassed in height until the Eiffel Tower was built in the 1800s. Back then, in the thousands BC, is just crazy. Anyway, now on to our next player, the Hittites. These were a Turkish empire that ruled a big part of Turkey and some parts of the Levant. The Levant is basically the area containing Israel, Syria, all of those places, and they are theorized to have descended from tribes that lived around the Black Sea, probably in Ukraine, and they fought multiple wars with the Kingdom of Egypt until they came to a long-lasting peace. And it was one of the first peace treaties in the history of Earth, which is a monumental achievement. The Hittites were not any slackers on their own, though. They pioneered a lot of chariot technology, and they were great warriors that conquered a lot of places. Then we have the Mycenaeans. These are often called the first modern Greeks. So, Mycenae conquered most of Greece, and they actually supplanted a previous civilization known as the Minoan civilization. But they control much more land. The Minoan civilization only controlled the island of Crete, whereas they controlled a large part of mainland Greece. They made many technological advancements, and they also built temples to the modern Greek gods. Furthermore, they also created Linear B, or the modern Greek script. They were an important part in the trade in the Mediterranean, since they controlled many crucial trade routes. Then we have the Middle Assyrian Empire. This was one of the empires that actually didn't get affected very much by the Bronze Age collapse. They definitely got affected, but not as much as some of the others that we'll see. There were three main Assyrian empires, if you could call it that. Technically, they were the same empire, but it was like a waxing and waning. And the Middle Assyrian Empire came back from a wane and conquered most of modern-day Iraq and parts of modern-day Iran. They conquered most of the Mesopotamian area and they are also sometimes called the Mesopotamian Empire, but that's not exactly correct. Empire got its name from their god Ashur. And an interesting thing about this empire is that they had tin reserves, which is a crucial ingredient in making bronze. Bronze is basically a combination of copper and tin, and copper reserves were quite abundant across the Mediterranean, but tin reserves were harder to come by. Finally, we have Phoenicia. This empire didn't control as much land area as the others, if you could call it an empire, but it controlled a huge amount of trade. It pretty much controlled 90 or 95% of the trade in the Mediterranean. It had a few small port cities across the Mediterranean. In Italy, multiple in North Africa, some in Spain, and a lot in the Levant and Turkey, and even some in Greece. And it used all of these to get a monopoly on trade. And the Phoenicians also made many advancements in sailing and trading. Now that we know about all of the players, the stage is set for the Bronze Age collapse. Coming up in part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.